Hi Russ, thanks for buying the board. I literally thought before I sent it, I would give you a really quick tutorial video wise on the board because it comes with instructions, but they're quite old. I think they were second hand when I got them, and then they're not the easiest to, well, I suppose they are quite straightforward, but I just thought it'd be really quick and easy to show you basically how the board works. And the setup and everything. So you've got the board, you'll receive the battery, which comes separately. I've supplied the phone that I've been using as the screen. You'll get a cloth and also some chalk, a little snub of chalk, and I'll explain why in a second. But I think I've got some more, so I'll send you some more chalk as well. So basically, the back of the board, I mean, it's fantastic. It looks just so generic chalkboard. But the back of the board, what you want to do is, I've got a craft knife, but you just want something thin, an ordinary knife will do it. Just pop it in the side, and you want to pop the back open like that. And then what you've got inside, which you'll see, there's colour coded dots. So you've got the red, the yellow. So when you put it back on, you just want to make sure that it kind of goes, the red dots match up, and it's all magnetic, so that'll fit straight back on, and there's no worry about that coming off. So that's the back. And then you got your battery, which is, I think, is like a Nokia phone battery. And I'm not sure if you can see, but it's pretty straightforward. Where the contacts are on the battery there, they just sit in that little holder for the battery, like that, and that's it. So as it stands, and then you put the back on, the board is now on. So that's ready to go as it is. As soon as the battery goes in, it's on. So then you'll see, I only use this for this, there's no other details on. But if you go to the app, which is a Psychic board, which is there, that switches on, and then actually it's saying contact. So it comes up, so you'll get that screen as it comes up, and then you just press devices, and then it's got the name of the board, which is BRD08C. So that comes up, and then you just press connect. And then when it comes up devices in green, then that's ready to go. So basically whatever you do on the board now, that comes up on that screen. Simple as that. The reception from the board to the screen is pretty good. I've had ones before, cheaper ones, like Japanese ones, can't remember the names of them, where the board has to be in the eye, like within the eye line of the receiver, whereas this one you can kind of put it out of the way and it still does it. So even round corners, it's not going to go through brick walls or anything like that, but it's pretty good. But you'll want to test wherever you put this, if you've got it on yourself or if you've got it set up at home. I would literally have it velcroed under here. So when the person was sat there doing the drawings, I would do like this and kind of cover my eyes. They were facing away, and it would be stuck on the table down here, and I could just see it. So that's how I did it. So that's quite cool. What you've got to watch for is if they hold the board but they rest their hand on the board when they write, it kind of goes a bit freaky. It still shows the image, but it kind of messes the image up a little bit. There must be something electrostatic in us that connects with the board, which kind of throws it out. But the easiest way that I stopped that from happening was, one, holding a small piece of chalk. So it kind of makes sense, because if you put your hand on it and then write, it's difficult. With a longer piece of chalk, you might be inclined to put your hand on it, rest on it, and then write. But with a small piece of chalk, you're more inclined to kind of just write with the chalk, so your hand doesn't touch the board. But also, I just would say something like, would you mind just watch putting your hand on the board, because it will end up getting chalk everywhere. So you can kind of almost not dust the edges, but as you rub it off, leave it a little bit chalky, which kind of then makes sense. They're not going to touch it because they don't want to get, you've already told them don't touch it, so they're not going to touch it. But also they're thinking, oh yeah, I might get chalk all over anything. So that's just another thing. So yeah, without touching the board, Simon, comes out great. But if you touch the board with your hand, I'm still showing it a little bit, but it's just not great. You don't want them just touching the board with their hands, basically. So like I said, 2 ways of doing it: short piece of chalk, and just tell them, try not, please don't touch the board with your hands, because you'll get dust everywhere. That's it. The phone, because it's quite an old phone, will stay charged for as long as you need it to. I just switch it off every time. I bought it literally just for this effect because it's nice and small and you can hide it away. The other battery I've included, but I can't remember if it works or not. But that's the charger for the one you've got. Don't rely on it. You need to test that. I'll give it to you anyway as a backup, but you'll need to charge it and test it. I can't remember, but there's a possibility that I've bought the new one because that doesn't work or whatever. So that's that. And so to switch it off, so to keep it in off mode, obviously if you're going to not use it for a long time, then take the battery out, which I'll do in a second, and pop in here for getting it sent. But if you just want to switch it off so it's kind of not in send mode, there is, which you'll have to look for, which I do every single time. Right, it's there. There's a tiny little hole, really small. Nobody's ever going to notice in performance, but that's what you're looking for. And basically, you just, the magnet is the off switch. So you put the magnet around the board, over that hole, and now that's off with the battery in. Obviously if the battery's not in there, then you're not going to leave that in. But that's it. It's fantastic. Kind of really don't want to sell it, but I'm not using it as much as warrants, same as probably a lot of things. So I will get that in the post to you today, mate, and I'll send the tracking details.